The first message came on her 25th birthday. It was a chilly morning in Portland, the kind where the fog still clings to the trees and the smell of wet pine fills the air. Emily woke to the soft vibration of her phone, a reminder she'd almost forgotten. It used to be his job to wake her up with a happy birthday, sunshine. But this time, the voice that greeted her wasn't coming from a call. It was a text. "Happy birthday, Em. Check your voicemail." Her breath caught. The number was blocked. She frowned, confused, but her fingers trembled as she opened her voicemail. "Hey, birthday girl," said a familiar voice, warm, teasing, and heartbreakingly familiar. "If you're hearing this, it means you made it to 25. I hope you're smiling. You never liked surprises, but I think this one's worth it. Just don't cry, okay?" It was Ryan's voice. The phone slipped from her hand as tears blurred her vision. Ryan, her fiancé, her best friend. The boy who used to leave sticky notes on her coffee mug that said, "I love you more than caffeine." Ryan, who had died 10 months ago in a car crash on his way to pick her up from work, he was gone. And yet somehow his voice was here. That first message lasted less than a minute, but it shattered her heart in ways grief hadn't yet managed to. For months after his death, Emily had refused to change her number. She kept his contacts saved, his unread texts, his old voicemails, like tiny relics of a world that used to be warm. But this was new. And it felt like a hand reaching through time. His hand. She called his mom that afternoon, voice shaking. Did you send me something?" "Ah!" There was a pause on the other end, then a quiet sigh. "Sweetheart."
Ryan planned something before he died. I didn't know it was starting today."
"Planned what?" "You'll see," his mother whispered. "Just promise me you'll keep listening." The next message came a year later. By then, Emily had moved to Seattle and started a new job, teaching at an art school. She still wore the small silver locket Ryan had given her, a tiny heart with his initials engraved inside, but she was learning to breathe again. On the morning of her 26th birthday, her phone buzzed again. Voicemail from unknown. Her heart pounded. "Hey, Em," Ryan's voice said, softer this time. "So, 26, huh? You used to say you'd conquer the world by Guess what? You're already doing it. Remember, life isn't about finishing plans. It's about living through the chaos. Go to the ocean today. That's where I'll be." And she did. She drove to the coast that evening, sat barefoot on the sand as the waves crashed and the wind tangled her hair. She swore, for a moment she could feel him there in the spray, the salt, the setting sun. For the first time in a long while, she smiled without guilt. The messages came every year, like clockwork. On her 27th birthday, stop drinking black coffee. You hate it, remember? Try caramel again, the one you said tasted like happiness. On her 28th, if you're still painting, good. If not, start again. You once told me art was how you spoke when words failed. On her 29th, there's a letter waiting for you at your mom's house. You'll know when to open it. Each message was a thread tying her to him, not in pain anymore, but in a love that refused to die. When she turned 30, Emily was engaged again. His name was Daniel, kind, patient. The kind of man who didn't try to fix her broken pieces, but held them gently, as if he understood they were precious. Still, when her birthday came around, she warned him, "I just need a few minutes alone today." Daniel only nodded. "Take all the time you need, sweetheart." The message arrived at noon. 30. Wow, I wish I could have been there to see you roll your eyes when someone said you look a day over 20. You deserve to love again, Mem. Promise me you won't close your heart because of me. I loved you enough to want you happy, even if it's not with me. Her tears came silently this time, not from pain, but from peace. That night, she told Daniel everything. The messages, the recordings, the love that refused to fade. He held her close and said softly, "He must have really loved you." She smiled. "Yeah, he still does." On her 31st birthday, the message didn't come. Gosh. She waited all morning, checking her voicemail a dozen times. Nothing. By evening, she sat by the window, the Seattle rain tracing lines down the glass. Maybe that was it. Maybe his last words had been his goodbye. Then, just before midnight, her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Voicemail. Her heart jumped. Hey, Em, you probably thought I forgot, huh? I never did. I just wanted you to have a day that was completely yours. No ghosts, no past. Just you living. That's the greatest birthday gift I could ever give you. Her chest ached, but she was smiling. Years passed. Emily married Daniel in a small ceremony by the ocean. She wore a pale blue ribbon on her bouquet, the same color as Ryan's favorite shirt. They had a daughter, Lily, bright-eyed, curious, with a giggle that could melt ice. Every year on Emily's birthday, she'd tell her mommy's friend Ryan used to send her birthday messages from the stars. Lily would look up at the night sky and whisper, "Thank you, Mr. Ryan." When Emily turned 40, another voicemail arrived. 40. If you're hearing this, you've built a life, Em. Maybe you've got a little one running around, maybe two. I hope you still dance in the kitchen. Hope you still believe the world is good. You always did. Don't lose that. Oh, and tell whoever's lucky enough to be beside you. Thank you. For loving you when I couldn't. She let the phone rest against her chest for a long while, then whispered, "Thank you, Ryan, for loving me even now." The final message came 5 years later. She was 45. The world had changed, wrinkles near her eyes, silver strands in her hair, a teenager who rolled her eyes just like she once did. That morning, there was no text, no voicemail alert, only silence. But when she checked her email, there it was, subject "One Last Birthday." Her hands trembled as she clicked it open. A video loaded Ryan, sitting on their old porch swing, sunlight behind him. He looked alive, younger, smiling that same crooked smile that had once made her fall in love. "Birthday girl, if you're watching this. I guess my time's finally run out. I recorded this one last, so if you made it here, you've lived, you've loved. You've done everything I've ever dreamed for you." He laughed softly. "I bet you still forget to water the plants." Then his voice grew gentle. "Listen, Em. I don't know if heaven's real, but if it is, I hope it looks a lot like you on a summer morning. I hope you know I never left. Every time you laughed again, every time you chose to keep living, that was me proud, watching you move forward. That's what love really is, you know? Not holding on, but letting go and still being there." He took a shaky breath. "So, this is my last birthday wish for you. Live without fear. Love without guilt. And when you look up at the sky, don't look for me. Just smile, because I'm already there." The video faded. Emily sat frozen, tears streaming down her cheeks. Outside, the wind rustled the trees, and somewhere in the distance, she thought she heard laughter. His laughter. That night, she walked down to the beach near their home, the moon hanging low and golden over the water. She carried her phone, pressed play, and listened to his voice one last time, the waves carrying his words out to sea. When it ended, she whispered into the wind, "I kept my promise, Ryan. I lived." A single shooting star streaked across the sky, quick, brilliant, gone too soon, and Emily smiled. Years later, when Lily turned 18, she found a sealed envelope in her mother's drawer, labeled for when she's old enough to understand. Inside was a USB drive. Note read, "These are the messages Ryan left me. He taught me that love doesn't end when life does. It just changes shape." That night, Lily listened to the first recording. A voice on the other end said, "Hey, birthday girl." And even though she'd never met him, she smiled because somehow love had found a way to keep speaking.